don't need to.
Okay,
we're
just.
gonna cut it. So. You didn't press record, did you?
I recorded.
Oh, it is. Okay. I'll just cut it. So my first question is. Are people open about being a dag?
I would say that the majority of us are very open about being.
Yeah, let's.
I would say. I would say that the majority of us here in Kanar are very comfortable with allowing people to know of our dag life. I know that I'm very proud of my dag life. I know Deacon, Sam, we are not ashamed of playing Dagger here, but there are some people who have played with us who are very cautionary about people knowing that they played this game. The majority of us use secondary names, so my real name is Jackie, and I go by Kira when I play Dagger here. But outside of Dagger here, people still call me Kira. It's become more of like my permanent nickname than my alternative name. There are other people who have had alternative names, and if you called them by their Dagger here name outside of Dagger here, they get very embarrassed, almost to the point where they're like, no, like don't talk about that. Like I don't do this. So. I would say the majority, though, are very comfortable with being in DAG.
The only thing we won't do is allow each other to call each other by our mundane names. So when you said that other name of mine, I was like, I don't know that person.
The second question is, do you agree with the statement Daggerher is an escape?
Yes, absolutely. I think that it's a venue for individuals to get away from the ordinary, to get away from the mundane, to find a little part of them that they wish they could be every day. Sort of, these are super people. These are the characters we're portraying are extraordinary individuals, and it's much easier to be that person when you're only at part-time. So it's nice.
Having fun? Yeah, I have to go riding soon though. Do you have the time?
What would you say to someone who thinks DAG is not a real sport? Or do you guys think it's...
People can think whatever they like about Dagger here. There's people who play Dagger here and don't think it's a sport. They think it's a game, or and it is. It's technically battle games. They are similar to war strategy.
Why is there a potato on the ground
They're kind of the medieval equivalent paintball.
Yeah.
Medieval paintball, that's what we tell a lot of people.
Yeah.
I still compare it to football.
Yeah.
Like, instead of jerseys, we wear garb. Instead of numbers, we have character names. Instead of a 100-yard field with 2 goalposts at the end, we have a battlefield that have objectives on that battlefield. We are just as intense, and we hit each other, and we plow each other over just as much as those guys who play football. I played football. I compare it to both. As you heard, you hit hard out here.
It's so passionate.
So I consider it a game. I consider it a sport.
With a pillow, really.
It's a community,
That's
yes.
the number one thing for
Yes.
me.
We have...
And I have friends from different states I never would have met out of this, and from different parts of Florida, and you see them more, like, 5 times a year.
And they're good friends. They're
When we go to big events, you hit them as hard as you can out in the battlefield, you plow them over, you call them names, you taunt them. Later on that night, you're sharing drinks around a campfire and talking about the awesome stories of the battle the day before. So, I mean, it's
It's a community.
exactly. Yep, absolutely.
That kind of leads me to my next question. How has Daggerher changed your life, like from before you joined to now?
So my story is that I did Renaissance fairs for years since I was preteen, adolescent basically. And so the Renaissance period, the medieval times, that has always been something I really, really enjoyed. That was a part of my culture, part of my growing up, and I had stories with it, I had garb, I had everything. I loved it. And I always chose to be Elizabethan, so I even went as far as having an accent 24 hours a day when I would be at Ren fairs. So when I actually met Deacon a year ago, he introduced me to Dagger here, and he's been playing for 10 years. And I just sort of fit right in. I just kind of clicked right in. It wasn't a large leap for me. Now, I'm mostly non-com. I don't partake in a lot of combat. I can if I'm feeling frisky, but I don't like the group fighting. I like one-on-one fighting. I get very overwhelmed being surrounded by a lot of people who can hit me. So I prefer not to do that, but it doesn't mean I don't like it. I do like it. I'm in it more for the culture and the stories and things of that sort. So that's my story. But other people have other stories. So
We definitely fight effective as a community because we have non-coms who fight with us. People who are friends but still want to hang out and fight with us, that don't necessarily want people who come out and hang out with us who don't necessarily fight but still want to wear the garb. They want to have a story. They want to support their friends in their group. Louie's been a friend of mine for a couple of years now and just recently started coming out and just wants to hang out with us because he enjoys it. As Kira said, she fights once in a while but still enjoys the atmosphere. There are people who are out on the battlefield constantly and hardly ever sit out, and there's a mix all over that. So whatever you want to do, whatever you're comfortable with around the people who you want to be with.
Oh, is this yours?
What is your favorite aspect of Dagger here? Anybody can answer this because we're probably gonna have different answers.
My favorite aspect is the ability for expression, with my outfits, with my attitude, with how I behave around other people. A lot to do with the outfits. I like to dress up a lot. It's sort of my thing. Like I also partake in other things like steampunk. So I have steampunk outfits. I have things like that. So that's what DAG is for me. That's where I find a lot of my joy, is making items, making armor, making outfits and garb. When I'm shopping, I go, oh, this would be great for Dagger here, you know, like just things like that. And the people, like these are really, really good friends of mine. Friends for, yeah, family. These people will be my friends for life. So, that's the best part of Dagger here for me. The community, yeah. I call it fellowship. So, you know, it's good. For Sam though, he's just here to look good.
They only expect one thing from us, eating all the food, so they don't have to get rid of it.
I actually think we have enough.
Why are you here,
yeah,
Fiddles?
maybe.
What's the best part about Dagger here for you, Fiddles?
How many minutes is it?
It's 8
The
minutes.
community.
Yeah, we're not
What about you,
gonna have
Lefty?
enough
I mean, I like the
Oh,
fight.
okay, so just
That's